Before we begin, let me express the horror and grief so many Americans at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk have felt. Charlie was a giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people. Our prayers are with his wonderful wife, Eric, and his beautiful children. Fantastic people they are. We miss him greatly, yet I have no doubt that Charlie's voice and the courage he put into the hearts of countless people, especially young people, will live on. I'm pleased to announce that I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The date of the ceremony will be announced, and I can only guarantee you one thing, that we will have a very big crowd. Very, very big.
All right, so that was the president announcing the Medal of Freedom Award for Charlie Kirk. Such a good thing to do. And here is the vice president had a discussion with Charlie Kirk's wife, and he will be transporting his casket on Air Force Two back to Arizona. And so that is a nice gesture as well from the administration. Now, this video is just some more updates to what's going on, what we know so far, and a couple of more troubling details that have come to light. Let's start with the FBI's recent press conference, which was, in a sense, a breakthrough. Take a look.
We were able to track the movements of the shooter. Starting at 11:52 a.m., the subject arrived on campus, shortly away from campus. We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood. Our investigators have worked through those neighborhoods, contacting anybody they can with doorbell cameras, witnesses, and have thoroughly worked through those communities, trying to identify any leads. We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time. We are working through some technologies and some ways to identify this individual. If we are unsuccessful, we will reach out to you as the media, and we will push that publicly to help us identify them. But we are confident in our abilities right now, and we would like to move forward in a manner that keeps everyone safe and moves this process appropriately.
Okay, so that was the update from the FBI. And then we have an update from the ATF that was communicated to Steven Crowder and confirmed by the Wall Street Journal. And this is in regards to the weapon that was recovered, including the ammunition. Now, on the cartridges, according to this report sent to Steven Crowder, all cartridges have engraved wording on them expressing transgender and anti-fascist ideology. An emergency trace has been submitted, and ATF SLC is working leads generated by the trace. The firearm and ammunition have been taken by the FBI for DNA analysis and fingerprint impressions. Upon completion of forensics, the firearm will be disassembled for additional importer information. And yes, you already have other networks refusing to acknowledge this. Some networks saying, hey, this is an unofficial report. There's nothing here. And they even went as far, and I'm talking about CNN now, to change the language or whitewash this particular detail. Take a listen.
The trail, I wouldn't say it's getting cold, and certainly those breakthroughs overnight have really ramped up, have really pushed this investigation forward. Yesterday, it did not feel like they had a lot to go on. Today, as they say, key breakthroughs, but the manhunt continues.
Okay, so what we're talking about here is, if you read at the bottom of the screen, the CNN writing this, sources, phrases related to cultural issues were scrawled on rifle and ammo found near Charlie Kirk shooting. Cultural issues, not anti-fascist, transgender, none of that, right? They wanted to whitewash those words because, as we have come to found through the pattern when a tragedy strikes, CNN seems to be the last network to truly tell us who the shooter is or any key pieces of information about the shooter. Now, it continues. because on their website, they go on and say a range of phrases related to cultural issues were found scrawled on the rifle ammunition found near the woods. Authorities are analyzing those messages as they seek to identify a suspect in the killing, sources said, but it's not yet clear if they point to a motivation in the attack. Among the markings were initials that authorities are seeking to match with suspects' profiles. Now, speaking of the suspect, they do have a person of interest. Now, we know the FBI failed twice already, but this is what's going around, and they are offering a $100,000 award for more information on this individual. Take a look.
As the investigation continues into the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the FBI needs your help in identifying this person of interest. You're looking at the photo right there on screen right. And the FBI is offering $100,000 in reward for information leading to the ID and arrest of the person or persons responsible for that assassination. Now, authorities are saying that earlier they've been able to track the suspect's movements. They've recovered a high-power bolt-action rifle. They found that in the woods. And officials believe the shooter used this weapon in the attack. We understand that the bullets had some message on them, unclear at this point exactly what that message was. The FBI is confident that they will be able to catch that individual you are looking at, but they need your help. Anything you know, the FBI tip line number is 1-800-CALL-FBI. Our heart, our prayers, our love, our souls go out to Erica Kirk, the two children of Charlie Kirk, a beloved hero that changed the world. America reports.
Okay, so that's a great announcement from the FBI. At least they have a photo of a person that they find to be of interest. Still don't know if that is the actual shooter. Only time will tell. Some people on social media believe this is the shirt in this photo that this individual is wearing. Land of the free, home of the brave. Again, we don't actually know if that is the shirt. It just looks like it because, you know, the photo is really grainy. And then you'll see people taking that photo and using AI, and that's not an accurate way to see exactly what he was wearing. We just have to be very patient because the FBI, they probably have technology none of us have access to, and they were probably able to get high-quality footage of the individual, which we heard earlier in this video.
I think law enforcement already has a subject, and they're actually focused on getting that person. When we look at doorbell ring cameras, DNA that will be extracted from the weapon, I just think it's a matter of time. And they're not releasing this information to the public because they don't want to scare the suspect, and I believe that they have a location in mind to address.
So where are we at this point? If you asked me yesterday, I'd say there's a 0% chance that they were going to find this guy. Let's bump it up to 20% today. Seems like they have made some headway, but they still have a long way to go. That's the first thing. Secondly, the fact that a weapon was found, we still don't know if that is the weapon that was used. We're still waiting for confirmation on that. Point number 3, it's very good for the president and the vice president to be a part of this process. And listen, the president's going to do it because Charlie Kirk is probably one of the biggest reasons why he won the election. Which brings me to my last point. You're going to have people who don't like that Charlie Kirk is being honored here. And the fact of the matter is, whether you like it or not, he played a huge role in Gen Z. They're more politically active than any other generation. That's according to the data. That's Charlie Kirk. So, you know, that's where we're at this point. Now, let's go to some other developments here. MSDNC, which I guess I have to give them credit finally for something that they've done good. They fired the guy who had a disgusting reaction to Charlie Kirk getting assassinated. In fact, he blamed Charlie Kirk for getting shot. Take a look.
This political contributor, Matthew Dode, got fired. And unfortunately, some on the left in the media, they've made some controversial comments following Charlie Kirk's political assassination. Take a listen.
After one of the Doge employees was allegedly attacked in Washington, D.C., that's what Donald Trump used as justification to send in federal troops into Washington, D.C. to get things under control. You can imagine the administration using this as a justification for something.
We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this. But following up on what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech.
Now, listen, I really didn't want to play the clip, but in the interest of making sure I can make my point, I had to. And the reason why I wanted to show it to you guys, because listen, they claim that he was one of the most divisive figures. Me and you both know that he's probably one of the least divisive. Now, you may say what he talks about, some of the subjects have been turned into divisive debates, but him as an individual, as a debater, as a conservative, he's not divisive. Now, why do I say that? Because I'm comparing him to some people out there that are definitely conservative, probably farther right than he is, that are much more divisive than Charlie Kirk has ever been. And the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because I guarantee you're going to come across someone, your friend, your family, someone you work with, and you know what their reaction is going to be? Why are we celebrating? Isn't Charlie Kirk this? Isn't Charlie Kirk that? Wasn't he a divisive? They're going to sound like that guy. And what you're dealing with is an individual that lives in a different America. We have to accept that at this point.
Yeah, so that comment got him in some pretty big trouble. MSNBC quickly addressed how inappropriate it was, writing, quote, during our breaking news coverage of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Matthew Dode made comments that were inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable. We apologize for his statements, as has he. There is no place for violence in America, political or otherwise. And tonight, President Donald Trump also called out anyone making comments demonizing those who disagree with him politically.
It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible.
That's right. No room for that. And again, Fox Digital reporting that MSNBC has fired political analyst Matthew Dode over his inappropriate comments today, according to two sources familiar with the matter.
So that's the least that they can do to that scumbag. I mean, it takes a certain type of person to have that reaction. I mean, think about this. Even if this happened to, some huge Democrat leader on the left, politician, elected official, a former president, I would never celebrate that. I would never say, oh, well, it's their fault. I mean, violence is violence regardless of the matter. We should be able to exchange ideas, debate, and agree to disagree. So someone spoke to MSNBC earlier, probably the president, because listen to the change in their tune. Take a look.
It was an attack on a man, but it was also an attack on the foundation of this country, on the idea that we are able to talk to each other, disagree with each other, debate each other, yell at each other even. We don't physically harm each other. We don't murder each other. We certainly don't justify it or make excuses for it. Charlie Kirk was a husband and a father of two young kids. Kids, as the First Lady movingly put it, who will now be raised with stories of their father instead of memories of him. That should horrify you. It should depress you. No matter how you feel about Charlie Kirk or his political ideas or gun violence in general, we are supposed to be a nation of reason and choice. The best arguments win, not the strongest fist, not the truest bullet. So what are we now? Who are we now? And what direction do we want? Do we want to move in? It's a question for all of us.
So now that we know that MSNBC has done the right thing, because these are journalists, they shouldn't be speaking that way to begin with, let's move to people in Congress. Now, this next clip I'm going to show you, and this gentleman's name is Representative Seth Moulton from Massachusetts, Democrat. I just don't understand why this is the topic of conversation at this point, but you could tell that even the CNN host was uncomfortable with what he was saying. Take a look.
Let's be serious about where this violence is coming from. Of extremist violent attacks in America, extremist violent murders, 76% are from right-wing extremists, 4% are from left-wing extremists. I condemn that 4%. But we also need to be honest about, as a nation, about where this violence is coming from. And oh, by the way, it's probably an appropriate time to talk about guns, too. You hear a lot of conservatives saying, hey, the only thing we need to do here is get more guns on the street. That's not going to solve this problem. That's going to make it worse.
Now, of course, the unhinged leftists are basically saying they have no sympathy for Charlie Kirk. In fact, some of them celebrate it because there was a clip going around. I'm not even going to show it, but it's basically Charlie Kirk defending the Second Amendment. Now, the fact that he was assassinated clearly by a rifle, I think speaks to how much he truly believed in the U.S. Constitution, the Second Amendment, and our values as a country. And I told you we live in two different Americas. I'm going to continue to make this point. I think that's the big lesson here that we really have to accept. Now, let me continue, because on this point of the rifle, you know how Democrats in Congress are reacting. They're focusing all on gun rights. Take a look.
People can finger point all they want. Look at the record. Look at the actions of what we are doing. I don't think a single person who has dedicated their entire career to preventing gun safety legislation from getting passed in this House has any right to blame anybody else but themselves for what is happening.
Yeah, so as you guys can see, AOC provides a perfect example why the American people are disgusted at their political leaders. This is the same reaction every single time that a mass shooting or assassination attempt occurs. We have to get rid of guns. That's what she would want if she was in charge. We know that's what Zohran Mamdani, who's running for NYC mayor, wants. But the bottom line that I'm trying to get across here is that that's what they're focusing on. Conservatives, and particularly Christian conservatives, they're focused on God, his leadership, his faith, his understanding, and leaning in on that at a time like this. And again, it's just two different Americas. Now, one more clip from this event, and then we got to update you on some other things that are developing. This is a clip of a guy. He was like third row from the shooting, and he was the only guy standing up. And according to the video clip, he looked like he was celebrating. Take a look at this. Okay, so the gentleman's name here is David. He does have an X account. He did not take it down. He actually directly responded to this, so I think that's something. He says that losing Charlie Kirk is heavy. We are still mourning. Trust that I'll be explaining myself very soon, but every lie about me brings me one step closer to becoming very dead and at the hands of the mob. Now, he says, should I die for hate or entertainment? Now, he put up this photo. I believe the guy that maybe came to the event with him. But it's in the comment section that he says this that I found to be interesting. So someone just asked him point blank, I don't want anyone dead, you or anyone else, but why are you so excited to see a man die? And now you want to retcon history and act like you weren't happy about it, please. He said, I drew attention so the security team could escape. It was dumb. I don't regret it. So I guess this is one of those situations where you guys will have to make up your own mind on whether or not you believe that to be true. All right, and now we go to our next update, and that is the shooting that also occurred yesterday in Colorado at a high school. Take a listen.
This morning, new details in the deadly Colorado shooting that sent several students to the hospital.
All fire departments respond on an active assailant.
A flurry of 911 calls poured in Wednesday just after noon from Evergreen High School. Students there in a panic, seen on this Ring camera video taken next door, running away, desperate for help.
I was scared and I felt like sick because I was worried.
Police say the suspect, a male student, opened fire with a revolver handgun, shooting a pair of students in front of others. Both of them rushed to the hospital in critical condition, along with a third student with unknown injuries.
2 patients with CPR need another ambulance to all of them.
This is the scariest thing you could ever think that could happen. They don't know if our suspect is old enough to even drive.
Hundreds of officers racing to the scene. Authorities say they found the suspect had suffered a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead at the hospital hours later. Investigators now searching his home and locker, looking for clues as to why this happened. Parents shaken, lining up to reunite with their children at a nearby school.
I'm incredibly blessed that I get to hug Brenner tonight and put him to bed and see him wake up tomorrow. Not every parent is that lucky.
And we are in Jefferson County, Colorado. This is the same county where 26 years ago, the Columbine school shooting massacre happened. Of course, at the time, that was considered unthinkable. The incident here at Evergreen is one of hundreds of American school shootings that have happened since Columbine.
And there is a photo of this killer, 16-year-old by the name of Desmond Hawley. He did shoot 2 students and then fatally shot himself, as you guys heard. And I guess they said he was armed with a revolver, reloaded multiple times. Investigation is continuing to be ongoing, and the suspect was reportedly radicalized by an extremist network. And the local authorities just mentioned that earlier today. Take a look.
What we're learning is that, based on some of the information that we're seeing about this suspect, is that he was radicalized by some extremist network. Sorry, I wanted to get those right. Some extremist network. And the details of that will be down the road, but we want to at least give you that much about maybe mindset for him.
Okay, and to give you a better photo of him, here he is, and the location and how close it was to Denver. So it's really right outside of Denver, up in the mountains there. And this is just more unfortunate news. I mean, sheesh. I mean, you got an assassination and then you have a school shooting. It's evil out there. It's pure evil. And on that topic of evil, a lot of people you're going to hear are going to say this is a Democrat versus Republican thing. We don't even know who the shooter is. A lot of people are going to say, well, someone said already, the governor of Utah called it political assassination. But I am more likely to believe that this is good versus evil. Spiritual war is taking place. Some people may disagree, but it's my show. That's my perspective. How else do you explain the continuous evil that we are seeing in this world, from pedophiles to school shooters to assassination attempts, and one that was unfortunately successful? That's evil. And so I think this is a great time to remind ourselves to lean in on our faith, use God in this time. Only He knows why this has to happen. And I think that's a better place to start than trying to get into arguments with people who don't want to see your side of it, right? And that's what you're seeing play out on social media. So let's get your guys' reaction to this video in the comment section below. Obviously, at least we have some newer updates as far as who the person of interest is. We had that unconfirmed report from the ATF about what was written on the cartridges that were pro-trans and Antifa. We also had this school shooting yesterday at a high school near Denver, Colorado. What is really going on? Just give me all your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Now, last night we did a video, which was really tough in my opinion, that showed what the president had to say in a video statement about Charlie Kirk's assassination. And if you didn't see it for yourself, you can now by clicking on that video, because it's coming up right now.